Hello, hello guys, it's me back again after a little bit with another Space Marine 2 update video. This time we're going to be looking at some of the questions for Space Marine 2 in regards to story, so these are spoilers. And if you don't want to know spoilers, I would recommend you leave now. And hopefully we get some good answers and responses. These are coming from the creative director of the game, Oliver Harris Lake. You can see his Twitter handle here on the screen. Alright, so first question I see here. Okay, so about Charon. First, he mentions Calth as if it happened yesterday, despite it being 10,000 years ago. Was he one of the Primaris that got put to sleep while still being perfected by Call? Follow up, were there any interest in playing with that angle more with the character in earlier drafts? Oliver responded with, "Bingo! He was put in stasis in the years surrounding the heresy as part of Call's initial steps to create the Primaris. Charon survived the horrific events on Calth and witnessed the Ultramarine's actions, inspiring him to take trials. He's made of strong stuff." So, we do have a pretty old Ultramarine there. Ultramarine and a Primaris. I'm not the biggest lore buff, so I was wondering if this takes place whilst the Grey Shields are still a thing, or have they been disbanded by this point? This is post-Grey Shields. They have since been divided up into the chapters, and the Imperium now makes Primaris in real time instead of waking them up from stasis. Charon and Gadriel, however, were put into stasis about 10,000 years ago, though as part of original Primaris. To this day, we all despised Leandros for his actions, and we all got PTSD during the campaign when it seemed we were headed in that direction with Gadriel. Yes, I was worried we were just getting Leandros Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. Did you expect the extreme positive reaction to his character arc, and to the way his character arc ended? I'm so glad to read this. Gadriel was a tough character to write, but so worth it. I felt that Titus actually bore partial responsibility for Leandros. Gadriel presented Titus with an opportunity to grow. He had to push Titus without becoming an asshole because they both overcome their differences. The struggle makes the resulting bond very strong. Gadriel would give his life for Titus by the end. So glad you came to love him. Yeah, I did like that twist. Is there a chance that melee classes get a buff in PvE while mission level 1 to 2 feels balanced, yet 3 to 4 melee completely falls off and compared to range classes due to how quickly armor is lost and rarity of first aid kits? It's just a feedback thing. Congrats on the game's success, it's incredibly fun. So, Imaraz realm at the end of the game, did the squad actually step into the warp in its entirety, or just a private space of some kind? Because as cool as Titus is, he and his boys in blue aren't quite Kaldor Drago. Thank you. We consider it a pocket realm that is sort of a mix of the warp and real space. Imura uses the power source to create it. It collapses with the destruction of the power source. So there was a big thing towards the end of the game that hints at another big enemy faction. Can we hope to fight them at some point in the future? You can certainly hope. We've yet to write the next big story, so right now there's a lot of potential. Here's one. Well, why is Titus capable of resisting the influence of the warp via direct exposures to its energies or by touching the artifact from Graia? Is he a blank, or is he just so stalwart in his convictions that he can resist the warp? Great question, one I thought about for a long time while writing the story. He is not a blank. If he were, the Astra Telepathica would have detected it. Have you finished the game? If so, this line says it all. They failed to recognize the truth that no evil could overcome a devotion such as yours. That's what uh that's what Calgar said to Titus at the end of the campaign. If Calgar disproved Leandros' actions, how was he a chaplain? Or at least, I guess, he was disproved since he tried hard to get Titus back. Didn't he break Codex protocol by going directly to Inquisition? And how was the Raven Guard added but no clause? Calgar didn't necessarily disapprove of Leandros' actions. He probably saw why he did it, even if he disagreed. Calgar simply felt that Titus had proven his innocence long ago and had been fighting Inquisition to get him back. Leandros was in a tough spot too, he sensed. He sensed imminent catastrophe and didn't have time to go normal route. He made a mistake, but his intentions were honest. All these characters are like impure metals that require purifying and forging to become great warriors. To Calgar, it is better to sharpen the blade than to throw it away. Astartes are too precious for that. Leandros and his harsh gaze plays a role, and a chaplain is quite a fitting one. Oh, okay. Spoiler territory. Is the Tomb World and its inhabitants a sign of things to come? If so, are we talking about an add-on or future title? If I told you it could spoil things, the 40k universe is massive, and that Tomb World shows people ancient and complex. How ancient and complex the galaxy is. That races have come and gone before humans even existed is such a great theme. There's a lot of potential for great stories. Alright. Asking about large scale maps of 40k battling hordes of enemies. Will they be PvE that supports more than 3 players, 6 or 9, on truly large maps? And no. That'd be a little too difficult for them to do. Talking about Leandros again. Let's see here. Any expansions on the story in game? If so, will it introduce new characters to fight alongside throughout the story? There will be future story additions for sure. Okay, we are going to get story DLC. We do have confirmation that there is going to be story DLC. Again, talking about massive MIG battles, big battles, and be a lot of work, but maybe one day. Huh. More operations coming. Some of them story tied into the main story. Some of them not. Talking about servers. The Mark 8 Deathwatch power armor not currently available. talking about character class interactions and PvE. Will we ever see Sisters Repentia or Adeptus Sororitas make an appearance in the game or in a possible spin-off? Great question. Only reason they're not in SM2 is they are a different sized Primaris and need a whole new animation set, which we didn't have time budget for. Not as simple as just a new model, but we're huge fans of Sisters and have our eyes on them for the future. So possible Sisters of Battle get added. Would there be any way you had the Chaos Space Marines some customization as well? And while you're at it, what about getting them to co-op PvE as well, telling their side of the story similar to how Armageddon does with the Orcs? There are a lot of requests for more Chaos customization, so it's likely we'll add it eventually. Chaos stories would be cool, but we'll have to see. I'd love to tell their side of the story. Nice. Will we ever get to punch Leandros in the face? Maybe we need a training simulator with that in it. Okay. When you say new enemy on the roadmap, do you mean like who knows Norn Emissary added or Orcs Necrons? It'll be new enemies for the existing factions in the game. Adding new faction would be a huge undertaking. It's possible, but resource intensive and would require narrative justification. SM3 is wide open for new factions, though. Okay, so definitely talking about Space Marine 3 after finishing Space Marine 2 updates for a few years. Okay, it doesn't look like he's answered anymore. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's a lot of cool questions that have gotten answered. Some of them about the story, spoilers, etc. I think it's awesome that he did confirm that we are going to get story expansions. More stuff for the story, which I definitely look forward to. Um, I will see you guys next time. Peace.